All right, we are back for another Friday financial wrap up with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great, man. I look forward to these each and every week because it is the last thing I do before I take a couple of days off. So thank you for the opportunity.
I love it. I love it. I want to say that I'm excited for today's show. This is for Friday, July the 26th. We're actually recording this on Thursday. We're going to talk about evictions, existing home sales, GDP, a lot to talk about. I'm going to throw Michael a curveball later in the show. So it'll be interesting to get his take on it. I think he's going to have a hot take on it. So we're recording this on Thursday. This is for July the 26th. Talk about PCE and the importance of that number tomorrow.
Yeah, so PCE is the third inflation reading we get each month. We get CPI, then PPI. Then we have a break for about 2 weeks, and we finally get PCE, personal consumption expenditure. Why is it important? The Fed has told us repeatedly that PCE and specifically PCE core is their favorite metric, the one that they watch, the one that they talk about. So we're going to get that reading tomorrow. A lot of folks have been doing kind of the math with the inputs from CPI and PPI, and really they're getting quite good at it. So I think tomorrow's PCE reading will come in as expected. Again, a slow trickle down in inflation. But yeah, so PCE tomorrow morning, specifically pay attention to core.
To court. And you don't think there's no surprise tomorrow. You think it's everything's pretty much on pace.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're generally heading lower. I don't see anything in the numbers that would send it higher. But that said, that's why you got to watch because sometimes there's things like insurance or other things that could spike higher. But yeah, they're getting pretty good at calculating PCE based on PPI and CPI readings earlier in the month. So I'm gonna give them this one.
Okay. I love it. Okay. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll obviously follow up on this. Let's keep going. Something I'm super excited about. President's Day 2025, the One Rental at a Time community is doing a live event again, number
Mm.
two in Las Vegas. Talk about it and tell people what can they expect? What's going on there?
Yeah, so again, we're doing year two. It'll be February 15th and 16th, Saturday, Sunday of President's Day weekend. Why? Because I think a lot of people work and they can travel home on Monday, not have to worry about it. Also, this year it's right on the back end of Valentine's Day. So why not bring your boo, your wife, your husband, whatever, to Vegas a little, maybe a day early, celebrate in Vegas, and then come to a life-changing event, the ORAT celebration. We do have two ticket tiers like last year. We're going to have 125 tickets for VIP, 325 for general admission. There will be lots of differences, VIP versus general admission as I build this out. But we're going to have 6 hours of networking. We're going to do a 2 hour lunch, 2 hour dinner, 2 hour lunch. And if you are in the VIP section, you're going to basically be interacting with all of the speakers and all of my millionaire contributors, right? You're going to have a much more intimate access. And last year, that was a huge home run. All the contributors sat at their own tables and, people kind of got opportunity to speak with them. Also this year, I'm going to be feeding everybody. One of my big takeaways from last year is, we fed the VIPs, but we provided food options for general admissions. It was just slower than I would have liked. So this year, I'm going to be providing food or food stations for general admission as well. I wanted to make sure I kind of fix that. But yeah, there's VIP is $6.99. I'm not hiding that, and general admission is $2.99. Yeah, come along. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't general admission. You're going to have plenty of access to the speakers if you want to go that route. Just not during the time that they're eating because my speakers stay. They don't fly in, fly out. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I told my audience I would put tickets on sale August 1st, but my school community asked for it early. So I just launched them this morning, literally an hour and a half ago. And we've already sold 20 seats. We've already sold 10% of VIP in
Wow.
about 90 minutes. So pretty cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool. We'll talk a little bit about school toward the end too. Super great event, man. What a great one of the funnest events I've gone to. Everybody in the room's doing business. Unlike it's not just all dreamers and people
Yeah.
that are trying to get going. A lot of very successful high-level people. Great event. I'm looking forward to it. Let's keep going. Evictions. What happened this week in evictions?
So I have been hearing through the grapevine that evictions are up in July. frankly, I didn't believe it. Right, I've been hearing these things for quite a while, but I had the CEO of Hemlane on, Dana Dunford, on today. Hemlane, if you don't know who they are, they have 28,000 units kind of under management, helping mom and pop landlords. And she pulled up her data and we went through it together. And sure enough, evictions more than doubled. Evictions are up 106% just in July from June.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I've been doing this a long time. July is not like January. January always has more evictions because people are paying off Christmas. It's like it's predictable. Just like March is predictable, where a lot of people catch up because of tax returns or tax refunds. July is an oddball. And again, May and June were flat. And then suddenly July goes up 106%. So I told Dana, we got to watch this and see what's going on, because this could go bad fast, right? If we go from, say, 450 to 1,000 and then 1,000 to 1,300, this could be a sign that the economy truly is breaking. So we need to pay attention.
I have 2 evictions going right now, and 2 different counties, and slow as molasses, trying to get them through the court system. But again, I wonder too, is it pinned up that now we're post pandemic, and that hopefully, because some of this dragged a little bit, I think, even post pandemic.
So
and
I've asked Dana's team, because she has a whole data science team. What I asked her to do based on this data, and hopefully I have it in the next 48 hours, is go in and look at that. The increase is alarming. But what I want to know next is it is it majority Texas or Florida, right?
Right.
Are there some states that are spiking, or which, if that's the case, I'm not too concerned. But if it's like all 50 states or 40 states make up the increase, then we have an economic problem, right? So
It's interesting too. I've had several conversations with landlords who have trailing 60s, trailing 90 slow collections, that, they have a tenant that's paying, but they're still 60 or 90, 90 days behind. And they're kind of like, I'm getting fed up. So it's very interesting, but I'm seeing the same thing here locally. So very interesting. We're something to keep an eye on. Let's talk about existing home sales. What did you see this week in your thoughts?
Man, existing home sales. I called it a month ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago. I warned people in the industry. I think you and I talked about this at least twice. That transactions were going to break below cycle low, right? The cycle low last year was 3.88. We had been trending at like 4.2. And I'm like, guys, the bottom is going to fall out and we are going to go lower. And sure enough, even last month, which was June, we almost broke it. We got to 3.89 million. I think July is going to be worse. Right. So we're going below 3.88. I warned you. Hopefully you listened. But yeah, existing home sales, dude, the buyers have given up. The buyers are pulling back. The buyers are pissed off. I don't know if it's election season or what it is, but the buyers are on revolt. Demand is way down. And it's existing home sales tank as we discussed.
100% see it in the local markets. Deals are harder to move, days on market. I see investors, fix and flip guys who are heavily capitalized, who have money, but just simply won't touch projects, are very picky about projects just because they're concerned.
They should be. Man, if you were a flipper today and you were adding inventory in this, what I would tell you is your numbers are wrong. Your numbers are wrong. If you're heavily buying today, your numbers are wrong.
You got to be cherry picking. You have to be cherry picking, and it's got to be 10, 15, 18%, 20% less than what you were paying, the first quarter. So
amen. I hope people heard that, because I actually know there's a couple of flippers that told me, it's like, Michael, it's a great time. I'm buying stuff faster than I ever have. I'm like, dude, slow the F down. You are going to get run over because your numbers are wrong. You haven't pivoted. Your numbers are wrong. So hopefully they listen.
100%. Let's keep going. Let's talk about rate cuts. A lot of talk, man. I've never seen so many people with such certainty about what the rates are going to do. We've been talking about rates the last couple of years. What do you see, Michael?
Yeah, there's noise is so loud and so consistent. At this point, we still have 100% chance of a September rate cut, which I don't agree with. But dude, 100%. Now what I'm hearing, Ty, is they're getting greedy. We don't want 25.
50.
We want 50. We
Yeah.
want 75 basis
Yeah.
point cut in September.
Yep.
Some people are saying, screw September. I want a quarter in July. I'm like, July's like 5 days away or whatever the heck it is. So I don't know. I just think the market's drunk or something.
It's interesting that I have friends, and friends I love, by the way, love and respect, who are like triple black belt at what they do, but they're not doing Michael Zuber daily financial news and looking at the stuff the way you look at it. I get to ride on your coattails, and they are so all in on their latest news posts and stuff. And I'm like, slow down, brother, slow down. I'm with you, man. I'm doubling down with you. If I were betting this, if it were a bet, I would bet that, again, I think it's after the election, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Time will tell. GDP, what is it and what happened?
Yeah, so GDP stands for gross domestic product. It is a reading on basically what the economy is doing, right? What are we producing? And just as an example to our previous point, GDP was expected to be up 2.4%, which is healthy.
Yep.
It was actually up 2.8%. So again, think about the people that want a rate cut. They basically want a rate cut to stop a recession. Well, the quarter that just ended, we grew at 2.8%, which is above trend. Yeah. That is real growth, not nominal, real GDP growth of 2.8%. So again, I look at that, I go, really? 2.8% growth? Really? 75 basis point cut? It doesn't tie off to me, but hey, I am wrong all the time. I will wear my swing and a miss t-shirt if I'm wrong. I just, at the moment, don't think I am.
I would feel like almost if there is a move, it's political. It would really it could feel very political if there was, in fact, 25 basis points in July or 50 basis points in September.
Absolutely could be. I mean, I've long since believed that Jerome Powell is not political or not swayed by that. However, one of the Fed presidents, I think his name was Bill Dudley, came out in 2019 and actually said something like, we have to do this to prevent a Trump reelection, something like that. If you follow me on Twitter, I reposted that because I thought it was a sign that the Fed is political, and I always thought they shouldn't be. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
very
hey,
interesting.
If you want to cut in July and then cut again in September, yeah, it's political, I guess.
Let's keep going. Let's talk about, we could either talk about trueflation or weekly unemployment.
Let's do weekly unemployment. Because again, this ties back to the whole, really? Because the other thing we have to watch is employment, right?
Yep.
Right. When you talk about the Fed cutting rates, you want full employment, stable prices. Okay. That's what you want. Right. All right. Well, great. Let's talk about jobs. So we had a period where July 4th kind of messed with the numbers, right? We get a weekly report. A couple of weeks ago, the number was lower than expected. Then last week, it was higher than expected. But that was kind of give and take for July 4th. So today's number, Thursday's number was important. And it's back to trend, 230, 235.
Yeah.
So we have taken the stair steps from 200 to 210 to 220, but we're still at 230.
Yep.
Right. A couple of weeks ago, we went to like 247. So I'm like, ooh, that could be a problem. But again, July 4th, messy number. We're back to 235. No July 4th impact. So again, if the unemployment market was breaking, you would have rate cuts. But again, we're at 235. It's not breaking. At least it didn't break last week.
Yeah. So it feels like, again, we're just trending in the right direction. No big surprises. No big surprises so far. Okay, let's keep going. Talk about trueflation and what is it, and kind of maybe throw your twist on it.
So again, we talk about, like I just said, employment not breaking. The other one is stable prices.
Yep.
So hopefully by now the audience knows that the Fed is looking at economic data that's in the rear view. It's always yesterday. Trueflation is a wonderful site that you should all go to. It has 5,000 economic metrics that are fed into their model, and it is updated every week. So it's trying to give you an impact of what's happening today, not yesterday. So again, what has the Fed talked about ad nauseum? We got to get back to 2%. We got to get back 2% average inflation, 2%, 2%, 2%. Well, if you happen to walk your fingers over to trueflation.com It now says we are at 1.75. So again, I ask you, rates are here, unemployment's steady, inflation is coming down, GDP is growing more than expected, and you're telling me we need a rate cut in this environment? Are you kidding me? So I don't get it.
Okay. One of the things I said maybe 6-8 weeks ago is I talked about where things are just normalizing. Does it
You're
feel
right.
like we're normalized, like really on the natural trend of everything without a rate cut? Does it feel like we're kind of moving toward a more stable or a normal market?
Oh man,
Or is that hard? That's so
it's
twisted,
hard
right?
to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. I actually the other thing I'm looking at is we talk about this on the daily financial news is earnings reports.
Yo.
And we've had some pretty significant misses.
Yep.
Tesla, Google, was it Ford or General Motors? Even I forget who it was. It's a company I never heard of, but they make French fries. They've got whacked 25%. They lost a quarter of their value because we're not buying French fries anymore. We got
Wow.
record credit card debt. I don't know, dude.
Still weird.
It's weird. Weird.
Still weird. Interesting. Are you ready for the curveball? I think we're going to talk about a buyer's market, and I think that we're going to talk about opportunity in there. Should I just throw you the curveball now?
Yeah, I've been waiting. Yeah, what do you
Okay.
got?
All right. So this was fresh off the press today, just on Thursday morning after the daily financial news. Gavin Newsom orders California officials to clear homeless encampments. Now, if you live in California, if you live in the Bay Area and you've driven down a Bay Area freeway, or you live anywhere near the inner city, especially somewhere like Oakland, Alameda County, or San Francisco, or I mean, everywhere. I think it's everywhere. They say there's over 180,000 plus in this article by the Sacramento Bee, over 180,000 homeless people. Newsom today orders for them to California officials to clear the encampments. Also, your thoughts on this? I know how much of a fan you are of the governor.
The king. He's not a governor. He's a king. So
Thoughts?
in case you don't know, I hate the guy. We went to the same university. We were there roughly the same time. I know some of the people that know him. He's been a rotten human being since college. So I don't like the guy at all. It's the only politician I feel comfortable talking about because I know him. So he's a rotten human being. This is just another king move, trying to buy headlines. We have somebody else running for the Democratic Party who comes from California, who would probably be embarrassed if we showed them San Francisco or Oakland or 101 or 280 or LA. It's just, this is all political nonsense. And the other thing that I ask myself about the king is if it was magical just to do a decree, why do it today? Why not do it a year ago, jackass? Why not do it 2 years ago, jackass? Why do you wait until you could possibly embarrass the Democratic nominee who's from California? He is so transparent. He's such a slimy human being. I will remind you that this horrible person slept with his best friend's wife. I mean, how bro code violation can you get? I mean, he's just a terrible person, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wow. Is he going to get the tip for the VP? Do you see that? Is this part of it? Is this a sign that he might be in the
I could
running
not.
for VP?
So it's absolutely in the running. I could not imagine a worse decision. I mean, if the Democrats are going to win California, no matter who's running, they could run a head of lettuce and they could win California. So to put up two people from California to guarantee California, which you're going to win anyway, that just pisses off 49 other states. I mean, can you imagine there are YouTube videos of people just holding their phone out the window, going through these. I've been to third world countries, like where they make $2 a day. That's not this disgusting, unsafe. Dude, do you remember the debate where they showed the poop map of San Francisco?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't put anything by politicians in general, but I could not imagine a worse choice for the VP than that. Oh God, my feel.
Well, I brought some sizzle. I brought some sizzle to the Friday Financial. At least I
Dude,
brought a
yeah,
little controversy and
yeah. If you
got,
want to piss me off, that's
yeah,
the guy to bring up.
there you go. There you go. So let's finish strong. Let's talk about the buyer's market. Let's talk about opportunity. What do you see? Like right now, it's the end of July, right? Next week is August. Crazy. What do you see? Where are the opportunities? What do you see with this buyer's market? What are your thoughts today?
So I officially announced it earlier in the week that congratulations. I think we've entered the first buyer's market that I've seen in a decade. And I'm talking single family homes, to be clear.
Okay.
Buyer's market. So what does that mean? That means less demand. That means less offers. That means sellers have a choice. They can either let their listing contracts expire, pull them off, try again next year, or if they are in a situation where they have to sell, they're gonna have to negotiate. A lot of folks are going to negotiate on price, but the thing I am most excited about, and I say this and I'll keep saying it, I think in the next 6 months, so the rest of 24, I guess 5 months, my community will do more seller finance based deals than we've done in the last 4 years. Because again, some sellers get fixated on price. And my community, thanks to your 6-hour masterclass on creative financing, thanks to our constant drumbeat of the 50, 40, 10 from Velocity Mortgage, the constant drumbeat of managing the blended interest rate, they know that they can do more than just offer a cash price. They can offer a seller financing price. So the buyer's market is here, and it's time to write disrespectful offers. It's time to double down on the daily discipline. It's time to know your numbers and must cash flow day one, must cash flow 30-year fixed rate debt, must be able to hold for the time. And yeah, I look forward to my community doing more great deals in the next 6 months than we've probably done in the last 18 months. It's going to be awesome because I'm going to keep mentioning it every single day. We only do great deals. And I am personally excited, but if you flip it over to real estate agents, I mean, dude, we could do like, I haven't put a number on this, so this is breaking news. I think we could do something stupid low, like 3.65, 3.68 million transactions in July, right? When they
Wow.
take it and they annualize it, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get much better the rest of the year. But thankfully, that'll be the bottom, and we start to build out of this next year. But we are in a buyer's market. I have made most of my wealth in buyer's markets, and I see this time being no different.
Couldn't agree with you more, Michael. I love the shift. A lot of opportunity in this shift, especially for our investors, creative financing, seller financing, all the above. Do you see if they start getting aggressive, or if we see this
Oh,
rate cut,
dude, it could,
does it just
yeah,
light the fire back on the market and we get
that
back
would
into a
that would be. I mean, listen, I mean, because again, I'm hearing the noise. There's a pretty loud drumbeat that we're going to drop rates between 1 and 1.25 this year. So let's just pretend it goes down 1%.
Yep.
That probably means mortgage rates have a 5 handle.
Yeah.
I mean, even Ivy Zellman's on record saying you get to a 5 handle, marginal demand comes back in a big way.
Yep.
It is my hope that doesn't happen because again, if you take rates low enough, you could reignite inflation. I mean, this is the dangerous game we're playing.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to repeat the 80s where we had inflation, we beat it. We had inflation, we beat it. I really don't want to see that. Let's have 6 more months of pain and slow so that we can get to the other side, and then we'll see what happens in 2025.
Very interesting. I want to encourage all the viewers out there, all the listeners, if you have not gone on to even just check out the Skool community, SKOOL, Skool, one rental at a time. It is the greatest value out there, $20 a month. There's literally thousands of dollars of free content that are courses that Michael has sold. I have sold. People have literally paid thousands of dollars what's being provided. You can go for $20 a month, a subscription like Netflix, like your Hulu account. You literally can sign up. Michael, any thoughts on school or anything else you want to share?
Yeah, the school community is growing. It now eclipsed 200. I think that was the number that's going to really just the community is starting to collaborate together. We have two accountability groups now. Again, that I am not a part of. Frank runs one on Wednesday. I think Jared runs one on Sunday, or maybe Mark. It looks like it's a tag team. But though, I mean, Frank did a 4-hour, session yesterday. And oh, by the way, these are recorded. We'll throw them up so you can watch them. Get involved in a community of people going the way you want. That was a mistake I made. I tried to do it all by myself. I wish I had this community and I could get encouraged and be reminded that the sacrifice is worth it, especially in a buyer's market. People are talking about seller finance deals. They're asking questions. Hey, how would you position this? How can I get the seller to say yes in this situation? So people are talking about deal structures, talking about inspection reports, condition. It is going to be a top 100 school. I checked today. I think we're in the top 800 now. We're inching our way up. I am going to do everything I can to get one rental at a time to become a top 100 school community. Alex Hormozi, we are coming for you.
I love it. Here we come. I love it. Michael, thank you for all the work you do. Have a great weekend, my friend. Thank you.
All right, later.